Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys an appliance that I've had for a couple years now, and I just never got around to doing the video. I honestly just kept forgetting. So here it is right here. This is a kegerator. Now, if you like beer and you're a beer drinker, which a lot of us are, and you like to have a couple beers a night, this is a no-brainer. I definitely suggest you invest in something like this. This is going to save you a ton of money and a ton of time having to stop by the store and pick up beer all the time. And now, if you like really cheap beer, like Milwaukee's Best or stuff like that, then this probably isn't something for you. This is for guys who like your microbrews. Good quality beer with a lot of passion that went into making that beer. And where I live, there is a ton of breweries, so it's very easy for me to get a keg of something. Now, I get the half barrels. You don't have to get a half barrel. Half barrel has, I believe, about 90 22s in it. And, you know, you can go about 2 months on a kegerator. Naturally, it has CO2, so there's never any air touching or oxygen touching the beer, so that's why it stays fresh in the keg. Let me tell you, it's been awesome. Now, right now, I don't have a keg in here because I got so sick and tired of drinking the beer I was drinking. It was made by a company called Culshan Bastard Cat IPA, and you know, after drinking it for 2 years, I'm kind of done with it. So, time to get something else. What I liked about Culshan was, or the place that I was getting Culshan from, they allowed you to actually not have to put a deposit down. So you just put a check down and you didn't have to pay that 50 bucks. Because let's face it, if you always had the keg out, you're always out the 50 bucks. So they were nice enough to keep a check on file. If you don't bring the keg back, then this supply house will actually charge you. And now there's lots of places you can get kegs from. Bevmo is one of them. You know, naturally, if you have a local brewery, like I said, where I live, there's tons of options. So I will be getting something at a later date. But I just wanted to just do a quick review on it, tell you what I think. Now, I bought this on eBay, and the price was right on it. I've seen kegerators all the way up for like single taps, all the way up to like $1,000. And this was a very inexpensive entry-level kegerator, but it's a similar kegerator what you're going to find other brand names using. So this one's made by Insignia for Best Buy. I'm sure Best Buy contracts with some company to make these because it's very, very similar with other ones I've seen, just with a different name on them. And I'll show you a couple close-ups in a second here. This one came with the refrigerator, naturally, the tower, the grate or the rail around the side, of course the grate for any kind of drippings, the CO2 container, and all the hardware and piping you're going to need. So let's take a look at it. I'll give you a couple close-ups here. Now, the tap handle I ordered offline from the website. This is by a brewery called Culshan. So you get your favorite tap handle. It's a great look for your keg. If you don't want to do that, it has a little tiny shorty right there. You can always build something if you wanted to. The tower is actually a separate unit, so you can pop off for easy cleaning. And of course, here's your grate right here, where I have a little paper towel underneath there to catch some of the drippings, and your rail. And it is done in a stainless steel. If you go ahead and open up the kegerator, you have all your hoses and fittings. Hopefully you can see that. CO2 container in the back, your regulator, and of course, I built this out of a hobby box. And what this is a beer tap cooler. You can buy these, but I had a couple computer fans laying around. It cost me under 10 bucks. And what this does is basically a little fan in here, and it doesn't work all that well, but it does work. And what it does, it's blowing cold air from the kegerator up to the tower to keep that hose, your beer line right there, a little cooler. So you're not going to have some of that foam that you normally will get from that beer sitting in that tower, because remember, that is not refrigerated. So you are getting some refrigeration coming up through the hole, but this kind of blows a little bit more in there, and it kind of keeps that a little bit cooler. So definitely a good option if you do get a kegerator. Go ahead and get one of those or build one of those. I can tell you how to do it if you drop me a comment. Really straightforward. I may build a better one at a later date, but it's functional and it works for now. Of course, you have your tap right here. This goes into the keg naturally. You've all seen that before. And yeah, now the CO2 container that comes with this is not the one here. And one thing you need to realize is that most places, let me close this up here. Most places, let me just give you one more shot here. I think it blends in really nice with the garage, of course, too. All right, so let me ramble on for a little bit here. Most places that you're going to get CO2 from, naturally it doesn't come full. It's probably common sense, but I feel the need to mention it. You're going to get that nice shiny tank. But when you go to get it filled, most places don't fill them because those tanks actually have to be certified. And they're only allowed to be in circulation for a certain amount of time before they're certified again. or inspected as well. So when you go into a place, I went into a welding supply store to get the CO2. Basically, they swap you out. So it sucks you're gonna have to take what they have. You may get a nice looking CO2 container. Where I got one, he said pick out the shiniest one you want. So that's generally what I do. Now it's not really a big deal because I know that every time that I get a new CO2 container, I go get the CO2 exchanged, I'm getting something that's safe, and that's really important. Now right now, because I don't have a keg in there, the CO2 valve is completely off. So it's completely safe, you don't have to worry about anything, and it's just a great way of being able to just swap out your tank. I'm sure you might find places that fill tanks, kind of like you know, like sometimes when you go buy propane, most places will swap them out. Other places will fill them if they are actually within the guidelines for how long that tank can be in service. So CO2, easy enough. It costs $13. I run up there, switch it out, and I get roughly about 5 kegs off one CO2 container, and that's a 5-gallon tank. So pretty straightforward, really easy, and you always have great tasting fresh beer on tap, except for me because I don't have it right now. But I will be getting a keg at a later date, and it'll be very convenient again. So let me know if you guys have any questions. As far as one thing I forgot to mention, as far as keeping the beer cold, I have it set to the maximum maximum temperature, or coolness I should say, which gets it down to about, I think it's about 35 degrees, I think. I'd have to put a thermometer in there, I kind of forget, it's been a while so I've actually checked it. But doesn't get it as cold as maybe you would like. I like my beer super cold, so it's definitely not as cold as I've been to several breweries which keep the glasses in the freezer, which I do in the house as well. But some breweries have their cooler, they have the ability to get down a little bit colder, right above freezing. This here, I don't think, I think it's about 35 it gets to. Some beer coolers are like, I think 32, I think. Something like that. I forget offhand, it's been a while, but I'm sure you guys will correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, it gets it pretty cold. Cold enough for me, especially having it in the garage. The temperature tends to be a little more regulated so that the unit doesn't work as hard to keep that beer cold. So something to think about when you get something like this is where you're going to put it. That's about it, guys. Now the only negative thing I have to say is when I ordered it on eBay, great price. I got it for about 400 bucks, which was with everything, and that's a fantastic price. Again, I will put the link in the description. The only problem I had was when I got it, somebody hit it with a forklift and there's a little bit of a dent in the side down low. Now, in my garage, not a big deal. I was able to get a $50 credit from the company, and the company I used was actually, it's through eBay, but it was fulfilled through Best Buy. So I could have easily have returned it, but then I'd have to rent the truck. I don't have a truck, and then you have to bring it down to the store. You can't exchange it out. You have to wait. So it was more of an ordeal to do that. The thing is functional. It's been working strong for 2 years. It just has that little dent. Now, if I ever move to a different house, I want to put this in the kitchen somewhere, I'd probably have it built in, but that's not something that's going to happen anytime soon. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have a kegerator. Let me know if you have any other questions whatsoever. Overall, great value. I'm very happy with it. So again, guys, if you're a beer drinker, think about getting one of these. You won't be disappointed. All right, folks, well, that's it for my Insignia Kegerator review. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day, folks. Take care.